Hey guys, welcome to Talking Assets, ATL. Of course, you have your co-host here, Jabril Porter.
And I'm Mrs. Key.
I'm Diamond.
And today we're going to be talking about financing for 1099s.
Yep, self-employed people.
And self-employed people, like she said. But we also have a special guest here today. We have Wendall King, who is a loan officer. He services all of Georgia.
So all of Georgia, so 50 states.
50
so I
states.
cover 50 states. So, just in case you guys want to go back to New Jersey or Detroit.
All of the things. We don't turn down no business, okay?
Let me correct that.
Yeah,
we have Wendall King here who service all 50 states of the United States of America.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Nationally.
Yeah.
So give us a proper introduction, Wendell. Like how long you've been doing this and what you do.
All right, so let's take it from the top, right? So been in mortgages for 20 years, right? So of course, in order to stay in the game, just like you guys were talking earlier, it takes discipline, it takes consistency. So, I've been with the ebb and flows. I've made, great money. I've made not so great money, and of course I've learned, as I've gone, of course, through those ebbs and flows as to how you understand how to budget, that type of thing. So with that being said, been doing mortgages for 20 years, commercial and residential. And then of course I would say, you change your business plan as you go, right? So meaning, I would say 2021 were great years. And then of course, market kind of falls off, right? So now you got these clients that have, 2-3% interest rates. I've helped the client get into a 1.75% rate.
Ooh,
that's awesome.
I missed the window on that.
So right, so it's difficult to trade up from, a 1 or 2% rate, to a 7% rate. So it's like, why should I sell my home and then I'm going to buy something, smaller than what I currently live in, and my payment's going to be higher. So once that created that type of effect, on me, once you see your pipeline drying up, so immediately you have to switch to something different, right? So basically what I do in addition to doing mortgages, when it goes back to what Thelma talked about in an earlier segment about having, multiple side hustles. So I also have a virtual assistant company as well. So with my small VA company, I have some guys in Pakistan and in the Philippines. And so what we do, we help other small businesses, perform, little small tasks that they don't want to perform or don't have time to perform or can't pay someone to perform. You know what I mean? So, and then of course I have a small renovation team. We do about $10,000 in renovations a month. So by me already having clients that maybe getting a line of credit or something like that, or a second mortgage, then I have a renovation team. We go in and we do the repairs and that type of thing as well. And then I do some small gap funding. So what gap funding is, so let's say I work with investors all the time. So the investor may come to me and say, hey, look, I'm short of funds to close, right? So they may be short, 10, 15, 20 grand, 50 grand, right? And so what I do is I come in, I fill that gap, give them 50 grand. So like on some of my deals, I'll make, 15, 20% return on them, just all depending on, the situation, that type of thing. Sometimes they'll pay me monthly. And then sometimes I can add the interest onto, the amount of the dollar amount that I gave them. So let's say I gave them like 40, I tell them that they have 6 months to pay me 50 back. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times I'm already in the deal because I'm the loan officer as well. So that way I can control the whole situation from beginning to end. So I know I'm going to get my money back.
Okay, he's getting his money on multiple things.
So
Okay,
faster than getting that money. Okay.
Yeah. And I think the general consensus, right, between, like you said, the earlier segment with Thelma and yourself is because this business ebbs and flows, right? We're talking about real estate. You have to have other means of other sources of income as well, to kind of not just to support your living, but support the business because it costs, there's a cost of doing business as well. Yeah.
So with all that being said, what loan options are there for 1099 and self-employed?
So when we look at options for a 1099 or self-employed individual, so we got multiple ways that we can go. So one way we can use their profit and loss statement. So of course, that every time a person does the taxes, they do a profit and loss statement. So we can use that profit and loss statement. Now the profit and loss sometimes can look a little different than what they may look on the tax returns, right? So we can use that profit and loss to show that they're receiving income, to pay those, to cover their debt to ratio. We can also use bank statement loans as well. Okay, so with bank statement loans, we're going to look, 12 to 24 months of bank statements. Now, the difference between 12 and 24 months is going to be the interest rate. The fewer bank statements we look at, the higher the interest rate is going to be because of those are more riskier. Because now you haven't seen historical numbers up to 24 months on those bank statements. So the difference in that may be anywhere between a quarter to a half a percentage point on the interest rate. So let's say if a person has been a business owner, let's say for 24 months, but those first 12 months, really didn't have great income. So now we're gonna look at 12 months, so that way, okay, there's still options available that we can go with the bank statements. But again, if you look at 12, then of course you may get a higher interest rate. And then we have what we call a verification of employment only. So which means, so let's say we have a truck driver that we're working with, right? He's been driving trucks, let's say for Jabril Porter Incorporated, for the last 3 years, right? So what we'll do, we'll come to Jabril Porter Incorporated and verify his employment there. Now, we do need at least 2 consecutive years of employment in order to do that. Now, they receive a 1099 from the company that's paid directly to them. It's not paid to an LLC. It's paid directly to them. So that way we can verify the employment on the individual and not an actual company. And so in that case, we can, of course, go that route, for a 1099 or a self-employed individual. We also have a stated income loan as well. Now, the only thing about those, the down payment is a little larger, on those, but there was a way to go stated as well.
That was going to be my question for you. I think when we talk about, entrepreneurship or being self-employed, we have to, like Thelma talked about, have our paperwork and all of our affairs in order. Because when we get to the lender, you're asking for our blood type, our
Shoe size.
and you
forget what time we use the bathroom.
Listen, you got to have your documentation. So, with all the options you just gave us for financing, which one would you say is the more inexpensive option as far as down payment requirement might be and interest rates also?
So the first option that I start with, in which I train my team, which I have a team that works for me. So I train my team. We're going to go with the options with the least resistance. That's going to give us the best terms. So the verification of employment option is going to be the first option that we're going to look at. Okay. The reason being is because with that, I can flip that into an FHA loan and go with 3.5% down. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Now the only downside to it is loan officers and realtors are excluded.
What? Oh my God! I mean, we can cut the whole episode now because I did not know that.
Realtors are excluded from that program. That's just an underwriting guideline that they have.
Shut up! So we can never go FHA if we're doing the verification of employment route. But what about the other options?
But yes, the profit and loss you can go that route. And then of course the bank statement route, and then of course the stated route. So you still can, again, that's why I say we start with the options with the least resistance, with the best terms. We'll go that route first.
All right.
I'm scared a little bit because I'm like, hey, I'm still working on my stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't been an entrepreneur that long.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but keep working on it. They don't call you diamond for nothing.
Come on now. Come on.
Diamonds are made from pressure, baby.
That's right. That's right.
Good one.
Yeah.
I look at you a little differently now.
Yeah. Right. So we counting on Diamond, right? I need to see those numbers in 90 days. I need to see what Diamond is doing in 90 days.
That's right. Listen,
I need to see what I'm
He spoke a whole word over you. You should be doing some good things.
Let me get my budget together. I'll let you know.
So for the verification of employment option, how long does the employment length need to be?
2 years.
2 years. Just like a W-2.
It's like a W-2. And it has to be consecutive. Can't be any breaks in between, anything like that. So you have to be at that same employer for 2 years consecutively.
Okay. I was just about to ask because I was laid off in 2022. And then I've been an entrepreneur for one full year.
Right.
So it's like, I really...
She can't use both incomes.
I can't use of course, a year I was a W-2, and then now I'm a 1099 for a year.
Right.
So it's like, how would I have to maneuver? Let's just say I want to purchase a house
Yeah.
at the end of the year. What would I have to do?
So basically, by you being 1099 for the last 12 months, right? So you got to keep in mind that one is going to take a larger down payment. Okay. So you got to start with that first.
Let's assume she's not a realtor.
So let's assume she's not a realtor. Okay. If she's not a realtor, she still wouldn't qualify for the verification of employment only
because it's not 2 years.
It's not 2 years. So now let's assume that let's assume that she's a truck driver, right?
Okay. I can see that. Just kidding.
Well, damn.
Listen, Diamond can do anything.
I can do it all. I can.
So let's say Diamond is a truck driver, or let's say she's a construction worker or someone that works at a medical office or a medical facility or something like that, right?
Diamond said you're giving her all these masculine roles is what you're doing. Okay. And well, this is an equal opportunity podcast.
True,
so
yeah.
So in that case, she's been there for 2 years. Then of course we're looking at 3.5% down.
Okay.
Now, if we can't get into the 3.5% down, then of course the next option would be the 10.5% down. But it's a conventional loan, but it's more of what we call a portfolio loan.
Okay.
It's not in the bank statement realm, anything like that. But it's going to give you better terms and that type of thing. And so of course we would go that route first by her being 1099 for the last 2 years.
10% down.
Down. That's worst case with the best terms.
Okay.
Now, of course, if I can't go to VOE or the verification only, then of course we would go to the profit and loss option, then to the bank statement option.
Okay. And when you get up to profit and loss and bank statements, are we still looking at a 10% down payment in most cases? Okay.
You need at least a minimum of a 680 credit score in order to get the lowest down payment option.
Okay.
Now we can go down to a 575 with bank statements, but you're looking at 35% down. So that option is available.
And I like that you mentioned that, because I think just for like clicks on the internet, right? Especially when we're marketing our business to other, to our clients and people on our social media, we lead with that 580 minimum credit score, but we don't realize, they don't realize it does come with strings.
Sure.
It does.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so a lot of times it's great, if you want to market like that, but then if you want to waste your time and their time, you really want to let them know, hey, look, this is what you're going to need for a down payment. This is the reality of this.
You're going to have to put up.
Basically, be realistic.
Right, exactly. And then, of course, to me, they'll appreciate it more. And then, of course, your colleagues will too, because now you're not putting out information that's not actually true.
Right.
Very true. So, I've seen people say, hey, look, no credit required, and, no down payment. Okay, what does that really mean? First of all, a bank, you think a bank is going to take a risk on a person that has no credit and put no money down? Now, can I do a no credit score program? Absolutely, I can. But you need to bring some money to the table.
Right.
Definitely.
So speaking of money to the table, let's
Cash
talk about that down payment assistance.
Yeah.
So what we want to know, what the people actually want to know, I'm asking on the behalf of the people at this point. So should you save for a down payment? Should you utilize down payment assistance? Which route would you take and how would you go about that?
As a 1099 self-employed person.
Yes. 1099.
What are our options?
Okay. So as a 1099 self-employed individual, first of all, when it comes to a 1099 self-employed individual, the only way that you're going to qualify for any type of assistance is you have to have income showing on your tax returns. So what I mean by that is you can't say that, I had $100,000 in gross receipts, but then once I look at your Schedule C, it's showing that you only made a negative $5,000. So with that being said, you won't qualify, not for no down payment assistance. So if you're showing gross receipts of $100,000, you need to show that your business made $100,000. So it cannot be a loss in order for you to qualify.
So all those write-offs that these entrepreneurs are talking about could kind of bite you.
Oh, it's going to bite you if you're trying to get some assistance.
Okay, and it's in this very case. Okay.
Right. So if you're looking for assistance, you need to, So a lot of times we think by writing off everything is the best way to go.
Right. Because we're trying to lower our tax liability, of course.
Right.
We don't want to owe the man.
Yes.
Right. We don't want to owe the man, but then the man or the woman can't grow their business if they don't show that the business is making income. So a lot of people like, okay, so how can this person, go out and qualify for certain things, but then I can't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people work in a whole totally different realm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that, they have assets. They can pledge the assets to the bank, and then the bank can say, well, look, okay, if you got, $1 million, I'll give you 500,000 back once you pledge that million. You know what I'm saying? So you can go out and do other things in your business. Now, if I'm just starting out, and then of course I'm trying to grow my business and build my business, I'm trying to purchase a home for me and my family, and you're trying to write off absolutely everything, it ain't gonna work. So with that being said, not for down payment assistance. Now you're gonna have to go the other route, which is using bank statements, and then of course profit and loss and things like that.
Okay.
But you got to keep in mind that you got to save. So if you're not paying the man, then you should have that money in your pocket.
Okay, listen, it should be one or the other, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of times people skip out on the savings piece, right? Because they figure that these resources are available to them for down payment assistance. But like you said, in some cases you may not qualify, right? So it's better to just be ready so you ain't got to get
Right.
Yeah, and you don't want to be house broke either.
Right, you get in, you ain't got nothing.
Having just the down payment money and nothing else. So when that emergency happened, like the tires, go bad.
So do the loan programs that you mentioned to us, do they typically require reserves as well, having money saved up, put away?
If we're looking at bank statement options, profit and loss options, yes, you're looking at anywhere between 3 up to 12 months of reserves that you need to have set aside.
Okay.
And then keep in mind, in this market, the seller may not even contribute a dime towards the closing table if you want to win a bid. So I mean, all those things you have to think about. Okay, credit score will dictate how many months of reserves I need, things like that. So you just want to keep, one, look at the down payment, and then of course the reserves. And then we still ain't talking about closing costs, which could be 3 to 4%, of that sales price.
So go ahead and explain that to our audience, because I do think a lot of times they use the terms interchangeably. They think the closing costs and the down payment are the same thing, right? And let's say they're qualified for 3.5% on an FHA loan. They think they're just coming to the table with 3.5% for the down payment. They forget about the closing cost piece. Explain what is closing costs.
So closing costs consist of, let's say, attorney's fees, lender's fees, and then of course you have to include your prepaid taxes, insurance. You got to pay your homeowner's insurance up for 12 months, and then of course there's a reserve account, or we call it escrow account, that has to be set aside as well. So all of that is inclusive of your closing costs, but I prefer to call it cash to close, because when a person says closing costs, then they forget about all the other costs, so, but yeah, so that's kind of what they're looking at when you talk about,
that was a good one,
closing costs. So yeah,
I think it's important people understand the difference between the two.
So let's just say, I'm 1099 and let's say I'm not a realtor, okay, and I am qualified for the 3.5% on an FHA loan.
right.
What would you say I need to save up for my cash to close? Can you give a percentage estimate? Just, assuming we're shopping at any price point.
Yeah. So what I would say is, I would say take 7%, right?
7%.
The reason I say take 7%, you're looking at 3.5% for your down payment. You're looking at 3.5% for your closing costs.
Okay.
So I would say, just think, hey, I'm gonna need at least 7% to come to the table with.
Okay.
So now if the seller contributes something, okay, that's a bonus. Okay, now that reduces that 7% that you'll need.
Okay.
So, but as a round figure, I would go with 7%.
No, I think that's great. And in some cases, do you contribute something?
Yeah, I contribute my hard work, my blood, sweat, and tears. I'm praying for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my knees every day praying, with Lord, please let this deal close.
Please let this close.
Prayer works, okay? It does work. I love it. Can you maybe highlight any, in-house programs or any type of resources that are unique to you? Why should people come work with Wendall?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm real and authentic.
I love it.
And then of course I don't disappear.
Okay.
So what people don't understand, the realm that we work in, there's a lot of pressure, right?
Mhm.
This is the most important purchase of an individual's life. You're dealing with, okay, I got to move out of my home. I've got to move into a new home. I got to get movers. I got to turn off, my utilities here. I got to start utilities there. If I have children, I got to move children from one school to the next. So there's a lot going on. So with that being said, what we try to do is prepare our clients. You know what I mean? So just we talk about getting ready. So if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? So what we try to do is try to make sure that the client is preparing to be ready up front. We're not telling you to cancel your lease right away, because see, in this business, the deal is not closing until the ink dries, right? So I mean, I've seen situations where I've gone to the closing table, the deal was signed, and we still had to wait for a couple of days to close an escrow because of a situation that has happened. So you just don't know. Now all of a sudden you got people that's sitting outside with a U-Haul. Now they blowing you up. Now you calling me saying, hey, what's going on? And that just makes for bad business. So we prefer that people wait until we have the actual clear to close before they actually
schedule a close.
Schedule a closing. Not only that, but schedule, but tell their landlord that they're moving out. So with that being said, why should they work with me? Because we're gonna let them know, we're gonna be real with them. We're not gonna be sitting here playing games, and I'm not trying to sell you anything just to win a deal. I can care less. I lose deals plenty of times. You know what I'm saying? Because people, want me to tell them something different, but I'm not. Right. Now other loan officers can sell you something and tell you whatever
and manipulate numbers to make it make sense. Yeah.
I don't have time to play games. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting your time, because now you done drove all throughout the city. You know what I'm saying? With this client. Now all of a sudden you're expecting to get paid and you ain't getting paid. So I'm doing a disservice to you.
Right.
So for me, why should they work with me? Because they know that if I tell them we're gonna close, we're gonna close.
I love it.
So where can the people find you at?
Look, you
social
can find
media?
me. Yeah, you can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram at King the Closer. You can go on LinkedIn, Wendall King. Facebook, Wendall King as well. So I'm out there just.
Okay, you ain't on TikTok doing some videos?
I'm slowly working on that. I'm slowly working on that. Yeah.
It's surprising because you actually introduced me to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I wasn't really familiar with ChatGPT.
Yeah,
you had a few
I looked a few little classes on it.
A few little classes and
yeah. So yeah, we're slowly working on that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. YouTube as well, that type of thing. So we're slowly building that up.
You can educate the people about the mortgage.
Yeah, that's what we're working on.
Yeah. And I use ChatGPT a lot now.
A lot.
Yeah.
When I want to sugarcoat things, I put it in ChatGPT. I'm like make it professional, ChatGPT, because I can get a little rough.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, this has been really good. I really love that you build upon, what Thelma said in the earlier segment, just about entrepreneurship in general, and just that whole journey of the ups and downs, the real behind being in business for yourself, because our clients go through that, right? Our 1099 self-employed clients are going through that very thing, and they think because they're having a slow season or a slow month that homeownership isn't possible for them. But we've got options with Wendell. You can subscribe on YouTube, obviously, at Talking Assets ATL. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok, Facebook, all of the things. Same social handle. But also, we'll include Wendell's information in the show notes so that you guys can reach out to him. He's, like he said, he's lending in all 50 states.
All of them.
Okay, so this message applies to everyone, be it 1099 or W-2 employees. Make sure you have a conversation with him. He ain't gonna leave you hanging if you ain't ready, but he gonna get you ready. So we're here for it. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.